Hello, everyone. By a raise of hands, how many of you guys have had to make a resume for a class before? Awesome. If you're not raising your hand, you should probably check e-learning pretty quickly. On average, takes about 3 to 6 months for a college graduate to find a job, and that's because jobs have begun to look past a resume. If all you bring is this piece of paper, you're never going to get a call back. And we're Team 5. Myself, Parth, Ali, and Sam will be showing you guys how to obtain and maintain your dream job. So the big reason right now that people are struggling is because jobs are reporting that they're unable to find people to work for them, even though everybody's out in the market searching. Because you're forced into a job that you're uncomfortable with or you're not uncertain that you want to continue to do, 70% of people are admitting that they're disengaged within their workplace. Because you're disengaged, you usually feel stunted within your workplace, and you become to struggle to grow within the company. And today we're going to be showing you guys that companies are beginning to look at more than the resume, and they're going to be looking at a briefcase, your head, and your heart.
So whenever we apply for the company, so whenever we're making the resume, it's gonna be, we have it like education, knowledge, skills, and experiences. Without that, it's gonna be look like just a piece of paper. Nobody's gonna look it up our paper, like what they write it up. So for the knowledge, let's say if we are studying in IT profession, so we have knowledge, enough knowledge for the IT professions, like or what the field we are looking for or what the field we are going for. So when the company hire us, they're gonna they have to know like this person is working in the IT, so he have the enough number of the knowledge or enough number of the skills or the ideas where he can help the company to grow up, or where he can help himself to grow up the market or grow up his career, and as well as help the company to build the career, also help the other people or the co-workers who is working with them to achieve the goals and the goal sets. Next thing is skills. So we all have like different type of skills, like some of them we have like time management, communication, active learner, teamwork. So all these skills are very important in today's market. Whenever we are making a resume, we have to make sure like we all are putting our skills on the resume. So whenever we are applying for the job, whenever the recruiter or the hiring team members, whenever they're looking for our resume, so they know like we have this kind of skills, because right now, like companies trying to hire 3 people instead of 6 people who have the more skills, so they don't have to pay more. So they have like they can save like more assets first of all there, they can save more money, as well as they're trying to pay more who have the more skills, so they don't have to have like teach them like, hey, can you do this for me, or they don't have to waste their time to teach and have them be ready out for like after like 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, and instead of them they're trying to get like more skills developed. So that's why like right now, if you guys can see like there are like lots of courses in internet, which one shows like how to develop the skills, how to give like a more brain power, how we can manage the time management, how we can be a communicator, how we can be a team leader or team workers. So these are the different skills which one we can also apply in our resume. And the third one is the experience. So experience is the major part of the resume. Whenever we experience is like kind of internships, mentorships, or like a part-time study programs, or like sometimes we working on the non-professional organizations, and we submit our group projects, academic work. These all are like a kind of the experiences. Because when we have experience, when we're working in the real world, we can realize like what kind of the difference between the classroom and the world, what the people are looking for outside of the classroom and what we studied inside the classroom. So we can apply both things together, and we can get the experience, so we can know like what the actual customers are looking for, or what the actually people are looking for, or how we can attract them. Like same if we go to the like real estate agent, like, or maybe the car dealership, how they look, how they're attracting the people. So they also get like experience, as well as they also have the skills to attract the people or come over there to buy the cars or buy the house. So these are the 3 main skills which one we have to have in resume, otherwise it's gonna be like a trash. They're just gonna trash it.
Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about the heart. So what is the heart? See, the heart is an assessment of a person's interest and passion. See, why are interests and passions so important when we're working in a workplace? Well, see, interests and passions, they're like fuel to the fire, which is motivation. When people are motivated, minds are inspired, ideas flow in, and then hence productivity happens. When productivity happens, what happens? People feel like a sense of pride, a sense of success that we accomplished something in the workplace. We contributed something within a business. We're making a difference in the business. We're not just another cog in the machine, which then leads on to longevity. People will stay longer in businesses. People will feel accepted, feel a part of the team. They won't feel as a tool used within the business. Now, I'd like to take a quote from Confucius, a Chinese philosopher, saying that wherever you go, go with all your heart. This is very true. How many of you have ever heard of that, that quote or saying, do what you love, because when you do it, you'll never work in a day in your life. That's very true. Yeah, sorry. That's very true because once your heart is in the right place, your heart aligns with your work, everything will go smoothly. This rigorous motivation, productivity, and longevity will continuously cycle, thus making employees stay longer and do less job hopping, as Cameron said before. So I'd like to take a real life example. My friend, he was a graduate from UT Austin last year. He graduated with a master's in MIS. And before that, in the first semester, he was majoring in finance. He was gifted at it. He was getting A's in exams. He was getting letters of recommendations left and right from each professor. And then one day he came to me. He said, "Sam, I really don't want to continue this." I'm like, "Why? You're gifted. You got a straight path, getting 6-figure income. Like, why you suddenly want to drop this?" He said, "Well, it's boring." I'm like, "Yeah, but like you'll make lots of money. Isn't that the point?" And then he said, like, "Well, it doesn't matter because it all feels so boring." I'm like, "Okay, what are you interested in?" And turns out he's interested in MIS, and that's ITS in UTD. And once he told me that he's interested in MIS, he doesn't know anything about MIS, but he knows that his heart was in the right place for MIS. Now, what do you think would happen if Kevin went straight to finance and kept doing finance? I think he'd be something like this in the workplace. Just the same old him doing an endless process of going to work, not being productive, not feeling motivated, and then in the end, he's just going to have an endless, boring cycle. So it's very important for the heart to be aligned with your work, and it's in order to have that vicious cycle of motivation and productivity. So next, I'll be talking about the head. See, when I'm talking about the head, it's a self-assessment of an employee's cognitive abilities and behavior. So what do I mean by cognitive abilities and behaviors? So cognitive abilities are not, I'm not talking about IQ, I'm not talking about how smart a person is. It's the ability for a person to adapt within the dynamic workspace. It's the ability where a person can actually work and find patterns that the business is moving along in. Can they adapt or can they not? Behaviors talks about how a person is able to behave within a certain team or a certain workspace, because the head, the assessment of the head used by the PI assessment, used by employers, these are rarely used back in the days. However, recently they are starting to use this because employers usually only focused on the briefcase, the skills, anything on the resume. I mean, like, sure, you might be graduate from like Harvard or MIT, but these two assessments assess that whether you are able to fit within a team, whether you are able to function together as a team. Because you can be the smartest person, but that person may not be able to communicate their ideas very clearly to each of their team members. So with this assessment, employers are able to sift through and find the people that are best fit towards their company and save a lot of money by evading all the future conflicts between team members, thus making the business more efficient, more productive, and etc. So in the end, the cognitive abilities and behavior are what employees should strive for to improve.
All right, so I would like to conclude the speech by telling you guys, don't just settle for any job. You want to make sure you're comfortable with the job you have. Like if you're an outgoing person, you want to have like a role that like, you know, where you're talking to people, where you're giving presentations. But if you're like an introvert, you don't want to be in that spot. Like, you don't want to talk to like so many people. You might do your best work in a cubicle, or when you're like left on your own, under minimum supervision. Has anyone seen that Netflix documentary called The Fire Festival? If you've seen it, you'll see like how that business, they make their employees like use false advertising and basically like use unethical means to like make them work, and they're all doing that because they're scared they're not going to get paid. So make sure like you research your company, and if their like morals and cultures and the values they have, they align with the values you have and the values you bring as an employee. And lastly, like your briefcase, like knowledge and skill set, they're not that hard to accomplish within these days. Like you can look up online courses for programming, for coding, for pretty much everything is you can self-learn and teach yourself. But the way you get a job is how you present yourself, how you talk to yourself, how do you talk to other people, and if you're presentable, like that's gonna help you stand out rather than your peers, because someone might have like more knowledge than you, and they might have a better skill set, but they may not necessarily get the job because no one wants to like have someone who doesn't know how to like mingle with their employees, or who does not know how to like indulge themselves within the company. And lastly, I think that's pretty much what I have to say for this conclusion. If you have anything else to add.
You guys have any questions? And that'll be it.